At the end of the last video, I was talking about another option that you can try with your logo. And that would be to take the logo and reverse it out of a circular shape or an actual circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the logo itself, turn it to white, and then I'm going to select this circle that I created, and I'm going to use the horizontal align center and horizontal align vertical, and you see that can create an interesting effect. Now the positive pieces um, are very much in competition with the negative pieces, which can make a nice look. And you can even try what happens if you make the circle even smaller. So I'll hold down the shift to constrain it, option to move it from the center, and you can see it opens up a lot of different possibilities with that logo. And of course, don't be afraid to experiment with different colors. Now, the next thing that we need to address is how do you make the logo look good with the type? And what I'm going to do, just to keep things simple, is I'll work with this logo and this bit of type. So let me clean up the board a little bit. Okay, so I moved the other stuff out of the way. And now, obviously, you want to use the same typeface that you made this from, otherwise the exercise would not be very valuable. Secondly, definitely use the same letter form, in this case the S that you made it from. Now the other other two letters you choose from, just since it's not a requirement as to what the name of the company is, just make something up, but use letters that look good with it. So the biggest challenge is how big should these be and how close should they be? So first let's just come up with somewhat of a color palette here. Now we only really have two key shapes to work with, so we don't want to go crazy with colors. Usually what works good in a situation like this is if you pick one color for the logo, which is the most important thing in this case, and then take the type and either use the exact same color or maybe just darken it or lighten it a little bit so that it does clearly play a secondary role. So what I'll do is I'll come over here and click on the color palette where I can adjust its mix a little bit. And I'm just going to slide up the, actually we should be in RGB. Not sure why we weren't in RGB. So let's go ahead and change that. So we'll go to File and we'll go to Document, Color Mode, and oh, that is an RGB. Okay, so we're just seeing the sliders for CMYK. So let's change that here to RGB. There we go. So now these two should be the same. And then what we'll do is we'll just darken this one up a little bit. And actually, an easy way to do that would be to switch to hue, saturation, and balance. And then all we need to do is drag the hue, saturation, and brightness, sorry, and just take the brightness down a little bit on that. Of course, we need to select it first. And maybe something like that. So now what you have to decide is the typography going to the side of the logo? Is it possibly going above? That rarely works. If it's below it, it shouldn't look like it's going to be crushed by the logo. Um, Maybe you want somewhat of a pyramid kind of effect where the type is just a little bit bigger than the logo so that it really feels like there's a base for it there. I'll do Command minus to back up a little bit. Actually, in this case, with all these caps, it feels to me like this wants to become a little bit smaller. So holding down that Shift key, you can do things like drag guides out to help you place this, but in the end it comes down to visual. And then how far apart should it be? You kind of want to, in design, repeat intervals. So to me it looks like there's a pretty significant interval that's happening about right here. You usually don't want to include little tips of things. So maybe that's the distance that this thing should be away from here. And again, we don't really include the tip because that's not that significant part of it. although my gut tells me that's going to look a little bit too far away. Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of cut the difference a little bit there. And that's not too bad. So that would be an acceptable solution. So then the next thing you have to consider is, well, how much space do you want around this when you present it, for example, on a board to the client, or if you're making an animation with this, how big should the screen be around it? And here's a case again where if you were making this for a website, you'd already know the size of the website, and you just have to adjust the size of these two things together now to look good in that space. But in our case, we want this animation to look its best when it resolves, when it comes together with the logo and with the typeface next to it. So we don't have any predetermined size other than if I tell you there's a minimum or maximum width of the screen. But let's not worry about that because something can be scaled down after we get all the intervals just perfect. So what I like to do is look for the key size that's in there. And to me it's going to be something about this big right here, where again we don't count those little extra things that stick out. Something about that size. And then we probably want to give it that much space on each side. So I'm just making my own measuring stick basically, and I'm holding down the Option key to copy this over here. And then since I have that much space on each side, I probably want about that much space on the top and the bottom as well. And then I'm going to adjust my screen size to maximize that so it looks really good there. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to forget about that stage size, and I'm just going to draw a box that represents what I think that stage size should be. Switch the fill to a stroke, make that exact. Okay, now let's just put these off to the side in case we need them again. And then let's give that another critical eye and say, yeah, I think that is about the size that I want. Now, once we have these three things, the logo, the type, and we have those in place, and then we have our negative space, if you want to call this big box that, and this is just temporary, but now we can grab all three of these things and we can go over to up here. You should get a box that shows you what the current height and width of that entire selection is. So let me grab that again, and you can see that it's showing in inches, and if we want that to change to points, then what I can do is just right click inside of here, change that to pixels, and that should be the jump start that this needs to go. So I'll most likely tell you something like biggest size would be 800, and then the other side should be smaller. So in this case, our biggest side would be the height at 610. What I do is just make sure that this has the lock, which is that little bar going through it. Change this to 800, and it's going to, because this bar is locked, make everything go proportional to it. So if I hit tab, you notice over here that this went bigger, the type went bigger, and the box around it went bigger as well. Let me move the view back over this way. And so now all I need to do is just say that's the size. So if I was going for print, I would want to change the artboard to this size. If I'm doing an animation, all I need to do is select this box, look at the size over here in this window again that we just were monkeying with, and it told us that the height was 800 and the width was 597. So I'll write that down, 597 wide by 800 tall, and now I know what size to make my movie. Now, just in case you are watching this video for print purposes, here's how you would change that artboard to be the right size. Get rid of all this stuff here that's in the way. And then I will click on the artboard tool, which is located over here. It's this one right here. And then I can change the artboard to match that box that I made. And a very important final step here, if you're going to print this or even just using this box to convert this to a JPEG or something, is to, after you have the artboard exactly the right size you want, and I clicked on the selection tool to get out of artboard mode. Now I want to select this box that I made, which is not very visible right now, and delete it. So that way, if I do print this, there's no chance of that showing up. Or if I do the other thing that I often have students do, which is to export these, which would be going File, Export, and then there's a little dialog box that's going to come up, and I'm going to check Use Artboards and then choose the format and where I want to save it. That way, when I deleted that extra little box that showed up, there's no chance of that showing up here on whatever we export that to. But if you're in the animation class, you are all set. You know what size after you've done this to make your board, and then you simply just grab these two pieces, do edit, copy, and then go open up your Flash document and start working on the movie. And that's what we'll cover in the next set of movies.